Hey guys, welcome back to LegitStreetCars and welcome to part 2 of the Subaru Outback fixing up series. I don't know, I'm really bad at like coming up with names for projects, so let me know, what should we call Project Subaru Outback? I'm really bad, I just can't come up with anything. Anyway, today we are ripping apart this car. We're gonna start replacing some parts. We're gonna do some diagnosis as well. I am freezing because I forgot to set up the heat when I bought this building. And now it's December, so it's 40 degrees in the shop, but I don't care because we have a ton to get to. So without further ado, let's get to work. First thing on the list, turbo. Everything else really isn't in order, but I want to tackle this turbo first. It's right here, and I want to verify that this has failed, and that's why we're getting a ton of smoke out of the tailpipe. And I want to do the turbo first because just look at our new one. It's so shiny and clean. I can't wait to get this beautiful part on this soon-to-be beautiful car. Oh, and because a bad turbo can send metal into the oiling system, this is the outlet, and if it lets loose inside, metal shavings can get back into the oil pan. Because of that, I did check to see if we had any metal in the oil. Here's that footage. Please don't be any metal in the oil filter. Please don't be any metal in the oil filter. There's oil. There's oil in the oil filter. And I really need gloves. Woo! So far, so good, guys. I don't see any glitter at all. Hang on. All right, the official glitter test is dumping this out on a white piece of paper. You can also cut the filter open, but we'll get a good idea from this. All right, that's pretty much everything it's got. With the bright light, we'd see the glitter by now. It looks really good. We have to drain the oil also, see what this looks like. Ooh, it's magnetic. That's nice. So I'm draining the oil right now, and the fact that it's kind of old oil is good to me. I want to see it in this condition and not brand new fresh oil like they were trying to figure something out. So I could definitely clean up all the metal shavings and hide a big issue, but this is looking nasty and good at the same time. This is a very magnetic oil drain, and outside of a little bit of sludge, there is no metal at all. This is a really good sign that this motor is in good shape. Now this is totally normal for it to have some of this grayish looking stuff, but no particles, no nothing. All right, so we're gonna take an oil sample from the very bottom of the sump right now to see if there's any glitter in it. And with the bright lights, you can see right through it, no glitter. This is seriously the most magnetic drain plug I've ever seen. This is nuts. So anyway, we'll put that back. Kind of hard to do. I'll get a new crush washer too. Oh my gosh, get in there. This is nuts. All right. All right, guys, so aside from installing that battery, I have never worked on a Subaru before in my life, so you are witnessing the first bolt that I've removed from a Subaru ever, and I'm starting it off by not realizing that this isn't a 13, it's a 12? Subaru, what's up with that? Just use 10s and 13s for everything. That's all you gotta do, jeez. Here we go. Hey, it didn't break, yay! Okay, so I'm removing this intercooler here so we can get to the turbo, and it's got to come off the turbo anyway. And this looks fairly straightforward. It's already loose. It looks like we got a vacuum line there, a little clamp here. This hose is fighting me. I will beat you, Subaru intercooler hose. Yeah, told you. Get off my, there we go. All right. Goodbye intercooler, that's really easy. So I guess this is a common failure point on these. They start to leak, but ours passed the smoke test in the last video, so we're good. Maybe it's already been done. Well, we got a little bit of oil going on right there, but right now I wanna remove this heat shield, and I have a feeling these bolts are gonna snap, but we'll give them a fighting chance. Spray them a little bit. And let's just spray these lines going to the turbo as well. Very good possibility none of this has ever come apart before. And we'll get this guy too. Oh, and I see there. We're gonna have to get this V-band off eventually, so let's go ahead and soak that guy too. All right, guys, this should be a 10. Yes, it is. It is a 10. Let's see what we got. It didn't break. All right, one down. All right, I believe we have to remove this guy as well. No problem, piece of cake. I mean, I guess this thing is pretty high up. It's not gonna get any road salt or anything like that on it, but still. Don't put really anything past a good old Chicago car. That salt kind of just mists everywhere. All right, here we go. Shield is actually in really nice shape. Surprised to see this considering what we saw at the bottom if you guys remember. All right, hi Turbo. Yeah, never mind on pre-soaking that V-band right there. We have to remove these bolts here. And we're gonna have to get to those guys down there too. Now let's just soak everything. Since I know I have to do the brakes anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and take the wheels off and pre-soak a bunch of stuff in here too. What is this? What is this? This is a lug nut on a Subaru? Are you kidding me? Look at this little guy. I've never seen anything so small.
That's what she said.
Look at this, and I have driven it a few miles and it's not cleaning the rotor at all. These brakes are in horrible condition. I think I'm gonna be doing the calipers as well. And from here, you can get a good look at the bushing for the lower control arm that Mark pointed out that's actually about to pop up. So you're not supposed to be able to see this rubber right here. That means it's about to slide out. And you're also not supposed to see a leaf in here either. And while our penetrating oil is soaking in, it's time for keeps because 2 out of 3 men by the age of 35 will experience some form of male pattern baldness. I'm one of them, and it's kind of like how 2 out of 3 Subaru owners by 100,000 miles need a turbo, or a head gasket, or an engine. So Keeps is a subscription service that makes treating male pattern baldness easy and affordable by keeping everything online. So you're gonna consult with a real doctor from the comfort of your own home, come up with a plan, and then this is shipped discreetly to your door, and it's as easy as a few drops on your head. Now, it typically takes between 4 and 6 months to start seeing results, so the sooner you guys get started, the better. And if you click on my link in the video description box and use coupon code LEGIT, you're gonna save 50% off your first order. This stuff is affordable, it's easy to use, and the results speak for themselves. So a big thanks to Keeps for keeping my hair where I want it, on my head, and for continuing to support automotive content creators like myself. Now with that, let's get back to some more Turbo Subaru. All right, let's get this downpipe out of here. This stuff has been soaking long enough. Nice and easy. Oh, come on. Yes. Okay. Okay, 2 down. Oh, I think we have like 3 more to go. Okay, another one loose. Okay, so I got the 3 on the bottom. They came out really nice and easy. And isn't this nice? You guys from the South where they don't use salt, you're like, whatever, Alex, this is no big deal. We don't even know what you're talking about. But comment down below if you're from the Rust Belt and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just removing a nut and a bolt is a massive, massive success, really, when working on any car from around here. So anyway, this all came off really nice. And this is kind of stuck. Might need a pry bar, no big deal. All right, here's a pry bar. All right, it's coming. All right, well, slight dilemma. I can't get the downpipe to pull away from the turbo because it's connected to the rest of the exhaust. I thought we'd have a little bit of leeway just to pull this back, but I'm gonna have to either break it from here, and yeah, that used to be a nut. Awesome. Or I could break it loose from here, which is mangled anyway, so I think I'm gonna do it from here for now, even though I may have to make a bunch of exhaust repairs over there later, but I want to replace the turbo and then try and drive this thing to see if it's fixed anything. So what is this? Is that normal? That doesn't look normal. This doesn't look normal at all. You see that? Weird. Oh, I just broke this. Excellent. Excellent. Did I ever tell you how awesome it is to work on cars from the Rust Belt? Because it's pretty not awesome at all. Look at this. So I just loosened up this bolt right here because this bracket attaches to the cat. And I'm like, oh, that's what holds it in. No, no, no. I mean, it did. It did. Don't get me wrong. It used to attach right there, but this is what it's turned into now. Okay, can we just talk about this right here? I'm honestly not even mad. I'm impressed with the creativity. Let's see if it shatters. Wow, stuff's pretty good. It's still, look at that. Look at that, it's not even cracking off. You can still mold this. We can reuse it. It's still malleable. This is crazy. What in the world? This is the good stuff, fellas. This is the good stuff right here. Is there just a huge gap from here to here? Is that what they did? They just filled a massive gap? What is going on? All right, I'm done messing around. Let's just break this off and be done with it. Oh, yeah, great. Of course, it's got to be on this side. Of course. It couldn't be this pipe right here. I gotta replace that anyway. This has the cat. Probably why they gooped this up to begin with. The cat is really expensive. All right, this isn't budging. Let's get violent. There we go. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Is this okay? Is the cat side okay? Might be. Oh, we might be able to work with that. All right, get out of here. Okay, cool. And yeah, to the naked, untrained eye, this might look like this end is pretty much destroyed. Some of it came off here and the rest of it is mangled there. But at least we have something to weld to. I think my guys at Fluid Motor Union might be able to figure something out with that. This is pretty much destroyed though. This piece used to go on here. And then this pipe's already been hacked together a bunch of times. Look, even right here as well. So we might just end up replacing the entire catback. Actually, I don't know why I did quotes. That's literally a catback. With this disconnected, I unplugged the O2 sensor and just one bolt for a bracket, and now we are totally loose. There we go. And there we go. Downpipe is out. Sweet. That wasn't too bad. Wait till you see the turbine wheel on this turbo. It's moments like this that make me really love my job. All right, check it out. This is great. I'm totally taking this apart. We have another souvenir. I love Carnage. Who doesn't like good turbo Carnage? Let's get this turbo out of here. I want to dissect it. All right, I got to get smart here and move some stuff out of the way. Got to take that hose off anyway. And let's get this little reservoir out. Oh, there's hoses everywhere. Stop it, Subaru, stop it. Okay, yeah, we're definitely taking this upper plastic plenum off. I think it's gonna reduce our chances of destroying this intake tube, but more importantly, we have an oil leak under here, so I need to investigate this further, and this intake is definitely in the way. So we begin to go down the inevitable rabbit hole of while you're in there, Subaru repairs. And what is this stuff here? Okay, kind of looks like we literally had a rabbit living under this intake. So yeah, we need to take it off. All right, so I've sucked out all the coolant from this reservoir. So I just disconnected one of the hoses on the bottom here, and we'll get this out of the way. Okay, there we go. That is gone. Okay. Oh, I don't like the feel of this. Do not like the feel of these. All right, let's soak them. Don't want to snap any intake bolts. And this is a plastic intake, so I can't really heat anything up. I gotta rely on penetrating oil. All right, let's get this guy. Oh, what in the world? Oh no. No, what in the world is going on here? Oh, geez, this is not good. This is a little bit more than a rabbit hole. I know what you're thinking. It looks like a chocolate milkshake. Did I just break this? Or did that just break free that loose? Oh no, I think we're good. Penetrating oil is working well today. I know you're thinking that is a milkshake right there, maybe some coolant and oil, but I think it's just condensation mixing with the oil and puddling because this probably doesn't have the best PCV system in the world. At least that's what I'm hoping. But we did all the engine checks in the last video and they passed with flying colors. So I don't suspect any issues. There's nothing in the coolant, there's nothing in the oil. And that was just a puddle at the bottom of the bellow there. So it could have been accumulating for a very long time. But anyway, good news at the moment is that these intake bolts are coming out really nicely. So be patient, guys. If something doesn't feel right, penetrating oil goes a long way. I soaked these for about 5 minutes. That's it. And now they're coming out like butter. Much better than breaking one off. All right, let's disconnect this fuel line. It requires a special tool that slides in here to release a clip. So we push this in and then pull this line out like that. And we got a couple more to do. This one just has a clamp on it though. And you're gonna lose a bunch of fuel here. So just stuff a rag underneath and let it soak. All right, so I'm gonna be removing the alternator right now. because I think something is holding this intake in, maybe a bracket or something down here. I have all the bolts out of it. I disconnected many vacuum lines, and look where we're at. Feels like something's holding it right down there. So we actually have to do the power steering pump anyway, so I'll get the alternator out of the way, remove the belt. No big deal. All right, there's the connector. So obviously you're gonna have the battery disconnected when doing this job, not just the alternator job, but this whole thing, just disconnect the battery just to be on the safe side. And I like to put back nuts and bolts so you don't lose them. Anytime you can do this, it's a good idea. All right, so we're just loosening up the tension on the belt. This is old school, no spring tensioner here. So that's a little unique. Okay, there we go, belt is off. Okay, that is actually one of the easiest alternators in the world. You can do this in about 5 minutes. So I can tell already this is gonna make life so much easier, and I think it's gonna make this job possible. See this guy right there? That guy. I think we need to remove that bolt, and it looks like it's holding some lines there that's preventing us from removing the intake. You can kind of tell it's just getting caught right in that area. And I'm not gonna lie, if we were to snap this, I probably wouldn't worry too much about it. Oh, it's coming. Nice. There are so many vacuum tubes connected to this intake or attached to the intake somehow. And this is definitely one of those situations. You have to be so gentle. All this stuff is pretty old and it can definitely break. I like to use tools like this instead of a screwdriver. It's just a little bit more gentle. Like that. And let's just get this guy completely out of here. It's definitely a lot to forget to reinstall, a lot to break on a car like this. Everything's just kind of brittle. And look at this, I found another bolt that needs to be removed right there. It's holding these lines, these fuel lines right here. You know what we gotta do next. Okay. We're having some pretty good luck, I'm not gonna lie. We're not breaking anything, which is great. Knock on plastic plenum. Sure, we're gonna break something. Oh yeah, we're getting there. There's definitely still more stuff attached though. You guys are not gonna believe this. There's another 10 mil holding a line on, or maybe if you're a Subaru guy, you are gonna believe it, but let me tell you, even at the dealership, there is no way they're reinstalling all of this stuff. This is horrible. Just the worst possible place to attach a fuel line. I mean, just what in the world? Okay, so technically I didn't even need to remove this other one. It's just that one. Now we're getting somewhere. You hear that? I'm leaking coolant all over the place. But I think that was the last of it. All right. Come on now. There we go. That is it, that is it. Oh, this is bad. Oh man, something was living in here. All right, here we go. We definitely had an animal in here. I'm hoping this animal didn't like the taste of wiring harnesses. He might have liked the taste of coolant though, because I think we might have had a coolant leak in here, and we gotta diagnose that. But first, let's vacuum all this nasty stuff up. Ew. Ugh. Okay, that works better. Honestly, I think this was soaking up any oil or coolant leak that we might have had. Oh, good job. Look at how deep this goes. Oh man. This is nasty. This is gonna take a while to clean up. Ew. And after some brake clean, compressed air, and a rag, we went from this to this. So no more oil and no more home for a mouse or a rabbit. So this hose right here is very suspect to me. I could see some oil gathering on the base of it, but this used to be rubber and it is rock hard right now. So we are definitely gonna replace this guy. Let's just take it off right now. And no reason to play around since we're replacing it. We'll just cut this guy. Make it a lot easier. There we go. Oh, that's carrying some of that milkshakey looking stuff. Great. This is what we had in the intake. Okay, yeah, just broke off. This thing is so brittle. This used to be a flexible rubber hose, and it's solid as a rock, and we have some of this goo in there. So Definitely a good thing to replace right now. With that air intake tube off, we can get a really good look at what I believe to be 2 oil leaks gathering in this area here. So this is the major leak. You can see it all puddling up in there. So I think one of the leaks is this hose right here. It's very brittle, just like the other one, and you can see that there's oil at the base of it. But I actually think the primary leak here is the power steering pump. This car was definitely low on power steering fluid, and you can see the whole back side of the pump is leaking, and then it's traveling down and gathering in this area. I do believe that a lot of this is power steering fluid. So I already knew that I had to replace the power steering pump, and now I'll just have to order a couple more hoses, and I'll look around here and see what else looks brittle and looks like it's going to fail eventually anyway, and I'll order those as well. But for now, this is a great time to remove the turbocharger so we can take it apart, take a good look at the carnage, and it'll make it a lot easier for me to clean all this up. First things first, oil feed line needs to come off, and there's probably a crush washer or 2 for a banjo bolt. Yep, and then we just have a bracket here. No, you don't. No, you don't. Got it. I had to loosen this guy up. Pain in the butt. But we got it. And there is the turbo feed line. And here's the other crush washer. So it just goes like this. We'll have to replace both of these washers. The turbo flange bolts are being difficult. Oh. I mean, look at this face I'm making. That means I'm putting all my strength into it. Oh, yeah. All right. Maybe a little heat. We can heat this. Map gas torch time. All right, get my face ready to go. Scare this thing loose. Yeah, you got nothing on me, dude. Get out of here. I'm not breaking any nuts or bolts on this entire car. Okay, but I will drop my tools. I will drop my tools, yes. All right, so just gotta undo a couple of coolant lines. This baby is coming out. Okay, here we go. That is it. Turbo's coming out now. Yes. Yes, goodbye. I gotta say, it is pretty nasty in here. And I'm really glad we're taking this turbo out right now because we can do some serious cleaning. And who knows what else I find to replace. Sounds pretty good. That might have been part of the rattle we had. And here's our factory turbocharger. And if you just look at the compressor wheel like this, it doesn't look too bad, but we definitely have a lot of shaft play. This thing surprisingly spins pretty easy though. But as always, the party is in the back. Here's the turbine wheel, so bad. So I will have to remove this V-band after all so we can get this chunk out of there, and I'll have to disconnect this linkage too. Just have a little C-clip, there we go. That is gone. We got a new turbo, so we don't need it, right? And this thing was sealing really well, by the way. There was no wastegate rattle, no leakage from here, unlike my 335i BMW. This one was in good shape. So let's just go ahead and take this off. We'll have to give it a violent taparoo now. There we go. Woo! Oh, I'm keeping this. I gotta send this back as a core, but they don't need this. They won't miss it. As expected, the shaft that connects the 2 wheels has sheared off, and what likely happened was this turbo, just probably due to old age, developed some shaft play, and this wheel started to touch the inside of the exhaust housing, and it caught while it was spinning, and it snapped this clean off. But something that makes me feel good about this failure is, although we have a ton of shaft play, you can see a lot of engine oil in here, and this is still spinning freely. And in the case that the turbo is starved of oil, this will continue to spin, and it'll grind into the bearing and destroy the bearing, sending metal into the oiling system. This is the oil outlet that will lead to the oil pan. So once that metal gets in there, in some cases, it can destroy the bearings on the engine, and then you're done. You have to rebuild your entire engine. So this makes me feel really good. We can see in here, there are no metal shavings, no nothing going on, and this still spins really nicely. So in the world of turbo failures, this is probably one of the best kind. Before I replace this turbo, I just want to take a look at the up pipe here, and this has to go anyway. The shield is completely destroyed. There we go. Oh yeah, get out of here. This was a brand new car at one point, guys. This was brand new. Okay, gotta be a way to sneak this guy out of here. There we go. Okay, goodbye. If you guys remember in the reveal video when we did the smoke test, we had smoke in this area, so I just wanted to make sure there was nothing wrong with this pipe. I've looked all the way around it and it seems fine, but I had to take that shield off anyway, so once we get it running, now we'll have a good look at this to make sure it's in good shape. I'll probably just have to take all of this heat shielding off. It's pretty rough, although this is still on there. I don't know, maybe I'll leave this. So this Subaru has a catalytic converter in the middle of the car, one in the downpipe, and one in the up pipe feeding the turbo. And look what I found, a chunk of something in there. That little pipe in the middle looks to be an exhaust gas temperature sensor. Okay, I'll grab this without damaging anything. What do we have? Oh, nothing. This is just a piece of corrugated plastic from one of the harnesses. It must have fallen off when I was taking everything apart. I was gonna say, it'd be a little odd for something to be right there. Before we even think about installing that nice shiny turbo, I have to get this banjo bolt out. Okay. That was painless. And this will verify my suspicion that the turbo was not starved of oil. And there it is. There is the little screen that can cause so many issues on Subarus, Audis, BMWs, a bunch of different manufacturers will use a screen before the turbo. And if you're off just a little bit on maintenance, these things can clog up and starve the turbo of oil, causing some big issues. So most people remove these after they've destroyed a turbo. And in my case, this was not the cause of the turbo failure, but I'm definitely going to remove it before we put the new one on. Look at how easily this rips. It's just horrible. It's just a bad idea. The oil feed line is not that big, so if this comes apart, you're in big trouble. This is why we have oil filters. We don't need this screen. Get out. These normally come right out. This guy's a little stuck. We're gonna get it. There we go. There it is. So I know I kind of mangled this thing, and the LED lights in the camera can exaggerate things like my fingers. They're kind of gross right now. But yeah, this screen was really clean, and it makes sense because he definitely kept up on his oil changes. With the turbo off, I have a lot of cleaning to do, and I have to order up these new PCV breather hoses. So this port right here and this one right here that we're leaking oil are for the PCV system on this car. So I'll order those up. I need some little banjo bolt washers as well. And then we'll be ready to plop our turbo back in and replace the power steering pump and the harmonic balancer and like 50 other things. And with that, I hope you will all join me for another installment of Project Subaru Revival? I don't know, it sounds pretty good. Comment down below. I obviously need some help naming this whole mess of a thing right here. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I definitely did. This is my first go around with one of these things, and yeah, you guys have now been warned, and I have a feeling more warnings are coming in future videos. But anyway, share the video, give it a big thumbs up. That actually really helps the YouTube algorithm promote my video to others, so I appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and most importantly, be very, very careful buying an older Subaru, and have an awesome day. I'll catch all of you in the next video.